Our Life in Waiting. And today, in this episode, we're going to be talking about how singleness is not the only waiting season. So, I have found that in my time coming to church and really focusing on my relationship with God, a lot of the conversation that I've been a part of inside of the church, because I am single, has been this rhetoric of how your single season is a waiting period, and how that is and can be damaging to a person in their walk with the Lord, because at least in the conversations that I've had with people who are very well meaning and very well intentioned with their conversation, trying to encourage me as I have shared about wanting to be married, about this waiting season kind of conversation, is that it has made me think, and based off of some of the things that I have been told and how I've interpreted other things that have been said inside this conversation, of, well, you just have to wait. You have to wait till God makes you worthy of having a spouse. And that can be dangerous, because then at whatever point God does decide to give whoever is wanting a spouse their spouse, then there can be this misconception of, well, I've arrived, like God has finally deemed me worthy to have a husband or a wife, so I have arrived. And that's just simply not true. There are there's going to be something for our entire lives here on earth as Christians that we are waiting on a promise or a gift that God has given us a desire to have, that He will give us. And there's nothing wrong with having a desire or a want for something, especially if God has told you He's going to give it to you, because He gives us the desires of our heart. He is a good Father. He wants to give us things, and He delights in giving us gifts and giving us promises that will benefit our lives here on earth. But having the mentality of just waiting, like, if you're always waiting for something, right, it doesn't hold as much value than if you are just diving into the Word, getting to know God and His character and His will for your life, that you are so focused on doing those things that when a promise comes to fruition and when God does give you a gift, even if it's not the one that you desire more than anything, it's still going to be, oh my goodness, God, thank you for this gift. Thank you for this promise that you have allowed to come to fruition. Because some of the things in the conversation with single people inside the church is talking about, you have to make sure that you are ready for your spouse. And I'm not saying that those things aren't important, but then it places you getting ready for your husband or wife above you allowing God to transform you into the you that God created you to be, not for another person, but for Him, right? So our relationship with God should be above and beyond anything else on this earth, because even our friendships are gifts from God. Those people that God has allowed in our lives to speak life into us and that we can speak life into are gifts from God. Because I'm sure all of us have had bad relationships, not just dating, but friendships, and even sometimes family relationships have been bad and hurtful. So when God gives you anyone that can positively impact your life, that is a gift from the Lord. And so when we only attach it to a person who is not married, that can diminish other times in your life where you're still waiting on something. So what's important to me in studying this and in learning this for myself, and continuing to learn and to have God like show me things through this, is that we are, because God created us to be with Him, we're constantly going to want more. Even if we have the relationship with God, if we put anything above that relationship, when we get the thing that we're desiring, it's not going to be enough, and we're going to want more. So in order to be fulfilled and to have your sense of purpose, is to develop that relationship with God, because He is your purpose, not your husband, not your kids, not even the ministry that God gives you. It is the relationship with the Lord. And so when we remove the waiting ideology to, I am so excited for whatever stage of life I'm in, that I get to have my time with God, I get to get inside of the Word, I get to seek Him, and He is excitedly waiting for me. It's my dog, Maui. Excitedly in relationship with Him. Everything else is just a bonus, because in the Word it says, seek first the kingdom of heaven and everything else will follow, because everything else is not and will not be as important as that one relationship with God. And it's just, there's so much beauty in being content and being happy in that relationship, because you cannot be happy or content in any other relationship if the relationship with God is not at the forefront, is not leading your life. Because if it's not God, it's that desire, the desire to be married, the desire to have the promotion, the job, the car, the house, whatever it is. Even if they are good things, if the Lord is not in the forefront of that, it's going to lead you somewhere that you don't want to be.